The 3 content boxes are looking pretty good. There's still some more changes that I want to make to these guys, but these additional changes are graphical in nature, so we'll save that for now. I want to get a background graphic in there and some other graphics, so we'll get to that in just a little bit. I'm going to move on now. I'm just going to scroll down, and I'm going to start working on my news feed area. Now, this is going to be quite a bit of fun, quite a bit of work, actually. We have a bunch of rules that we want to create. What I will do, if you're all right with this, is I'm just going to remind you of this structure that we set up for our newsfeed. There's quite a bit going on here. So we've already created a redefined article element. We already have a news class rule set up as well. But don't forget, inside the news div, we've got an H2 happening there, which is a hyperlink, by the way, which would theoretically, anyway, link to the full news piece. And then we also have we've got a paragraph in there. And then beneath the paragraph, we've got some additional content, which I'm calling news meta. And there may or may not be some hyperlinks in there as well. So quite a bit going on here. I want to try and get some of this content under control. So I'm back inside my external style sheet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find my redefined article. Go ahead and find that guy. And underneath him, we have news. So give me a moment. I'm going to stick with this formatting for my external style sheet, something like this. I'm just going to tuck news up underneath article, and I'm going to give myself some extra room underneath news because we're going to create a bunch of rules here. The first thing that I want to do is I want to create a compound rule called news.h2. So this is the heading inside the news element, if you will, or the news object itself. And let's see, I'm going to throw in my curly brackets, and I'm going to set a font size. So font-size, and I'm going to try 120%. That might change. And I'll set a margin bottom as well. Margin-bottom, I'm going to try 5 pixels, so just a little bit of space there. By the way, as we're going along adding these guys in, at any point you can save your external style sheet and go and refresh your browser to preview the changes. I'm just going to keep on hammering these guys out, though, myself. The next guy that I'm going to create is going to control the look of the hyperlink in the H2. So it's going to be news H2A. You start getting used to how to code these things after you've done it for a little while. And let's see. First of all, I don't like underlines on hyperlinks inside main navigation menus, obviously, and headings. So I'm going to go text-decoration once again, none. And the other thing that I want to do is I want to change its color. So I'm going to go color and then RGB. And then inside my regular brackets, I'm going to go 189, 30, 44, followed by a semicolon. All right, maybe at this point I will save and refresh just to see what we get. There we go, something like that. So the text is a little bit smaller. It's still a hyperlink when I move my mouse over top of them, but the underline is gone. And of course, we're now getting this nice red text, which is going to go along with our design. Good stuff. Let's continue here. There's a little bit more that I want to do to these guys. I'm going to head back down into my list of rules. I'm going to go after the news metadata. So I'm going to go dot news metadata, or dot news meta, I guess is what I called it actually. And I'll throw in my curly brackets. And I'm going to change the font size. I'm going to drop the font size down to just 70%. And let's see, I'm going to go margin-top. We'll create a little bit of space here, a little gap of space of 5 pixels. And I'm also going to float these guys as well. I'm going to float them over to the right, something like this. I'm also going to change the font family that's being used. And I'll stick with Verdana for consistency here. There we go. So just a couple of minor changes there. And one other thing that I'm going to do related to my news meta is I'm going to go news meta A. So the hyperlink inside the news meta, you may or may not have some links in there. All I'm going to do there, I'm going to keep them underlined. That's fine in this scenario. But I am going to change the color of the links. So I'm going to use the same red value that we specified for the H2s. So that was 189, 30, 44. Something like this. Good stuff. Go ahead and save up your work and refresh your browser. And there we go. So now we have these news metas, and they're nice and small, and they're all the way over onto the right-hand side. And there's if you have any hyperlinks in there, that's how they look now. So there you go. There's our news feed now formatted inside our high-resolution layout.